Now, Martin, a very good morning to you. So let's talk about the factors that are in play here when it comes to policy around this. It's great that people have another alternative somewhere else that they can go to get their jabs. But what are the things that need to be considered when it comes to cost? For example, also, if somebody works for you but they don't want to take the vaccine.
Well, morning, Yuveka, and morning to your viewers. I think we're making real progress. We started phase 2, as everybody knows, 2 weeks ago on the 17th of May. And we're ramping up progressively. In fact, last week we ended up with 110 sites in the private sector that were operational alongside 200 in the public sector. Now, let's put that in context. We think we're going to get to 3,000. We're going to scale up to 3,000 sites, of which a significant number, as you say, are going to be the occupational health and safety sites at places of work. We've already got nearly 100 in the pipeline that we think will come on stream probably by the end of next week. The first, Impala Platinum, is already on stream. We think that Ford and Eskom will also be on stream. And we're talking about them administering in the order of 1,000 jabs per day for these individual workplace sites, some less, some more. We need to get to 250,000 jabs a day as a country. And obviously the private sector and employers can make a very significant contribution in that regard if we're going to be able to vaccinate the majority of the most vulnerable in the population, those are the over 60s, before, the onset of both the third wave and winter in the next month or so.
Well, Martin, like you say, you're making real progress, and it's one thing now to have the capacity to do that for your workers. We see some employers also indicating that they can take this further to workers' families, to others in the communities around them. What would that involve, and what are the chances that that could be done very well and smoothly?
Well, we think that's absolutely correct. It's under discussion at NEDLAC, as you say, between government, labour, civil society and business. Obviously, employers need to start first and foremost with their workers. We've now agreed the principle that they can upload their workers' details, subject to their workers having given consent, and then start to move through those workers, starting obviously with the over 60s, then the over 50s, and then, of course, the over 40s. But as you say, potentially extending their reach to the families of workers and indeed to the communities within which they operate, because we need to make sure that we can blanket the country as quickly and as comprehensively as possible to ensure that as many people as possible are vaccinated as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. And the private sector has got a very significant role, both in terms of private pharmacies and hospitals and the medical schemes and doctors' rooms, but also, of course, workplace sites, as you said, Yuveka.
Now, we understand that employees are still waiting for clarity from the health department when it comes to compensation and compensating the private sector for costs incurred here to be involved in this program. So where are you with that at the moment?
So the principles have already been agreed. As we all know, the state will underwrite the cost of the vaccine for everybody in the country. If, in fact, people are covered by medical aid, either privately or through corporate schemes, that will be recovered from medical aid schemes. To the extent that employers are prepared to go beyond that and pay for either the cost of the vaccine and or the administration, we know there's a fixed administration fee, there's a scheduled cost for the vaccines. The state will, of course, welcome that, but in the event that they don't, the state will reimburse the employers for everybody who's not covered by medical aid.
All right, perfect. Martin Kingston, a pleasure as always. Thanks very much for that insight. We'll watch that process as well.